What's up everybody, Brad here with the Money Dad channel. In this video I'm going to talk about 4 stocks. That's Snap, Twitter, Pinterest, and Intel. I'm bullish on all 4 of these. I'm going to show you why I'm bullish in this video. It has to do with their charts, the technical patterns that I'm seeing on them. I'm not going to get into the fundamentals on any of these companies in this video. I do a little bit of fundamental analysis in some of my videos, but this one is not going to have any of that. So I apologize for the the fundamental analysis people out there. I don't even know what to, what do I call those people? I don't. Is there a name for people that like fundamentals or people that like technicals? I don't know. Anyway, sidebar aside, I'm going to talk about these 4 stocks and the patterns that are shaping up on these charts because they look really good to me. I'm going to start with Snap because this one is a little bit different from the other 3 as far as the pattern that I'm seeing on the chart. It looks like there's this trend line right here, this resistance line has been broken. I don't know if you want to call this a wedge or what, but there's a flat horizontal support line right here that has acted as really great support over the last, let's say, 6 months. Let me clean this chart up. I'm going to take the moving averages off because they're not really relevant to this videos. I'm just going to clean it up for you guys a little bit here, so there's not a whole lot going on the screen. It's just easier to see what I'm talking about here. So now all we have are the 2 trend lines, the support right here, the resistance above, and then there's this gap below that I am not terribly worried about right now, but I do have it shown because I try to label every significant gap that I see anyway. I'm not going to label every single gap on every single chart, but the big ones, the ones that are still recent enough to potentially get filled, I'm going to label those and just keep an eye on them for the future in case this stock starts to break down. I might look at those as downside targets. So that all said, I'm not targeting this gap right now because this chart pattern right here looks bullish to me, so I think we're heading to the upside. But if it broke down, if this breakout failed and started to head to the downside, then I would probably be targeting this gap down here. So just to kind of give you guys some perspective on, we should be looking at, if this chart goes in either direction, how do we play this and what are we looking for? So that would be my target to the downside if that happened. Now, all that said, I'm not expecting that. I'm not planning on that. I do plan on this breaking to the upside because we have just broken through this resistance line right here, right? I just said earlier that we have this nice support. We had this descending resistance right here. We had a touch point right there, right there, right there, and then we were going to create another touch point if we started to head down, but we broke through. So is this a breakout or is this a fake out? I would like to see a few more candlesticks. If we continue to head up from here, if we don't head down at the open on Monday, then what I would expect to happen is something like maybe a couple more candlesticks to the upside, and then we come down and retest this trend line and make sure that it acts as support, and then head to the upside from there. This is what I expect to see on Snap. Okay, when we see these little breakouts, more often than not, you'll get some bullish activity for the first few days, maybe a week or so, and then we're going to cool off. We're going to retest this line right here, what was resistance before, right? Because we couldn't break through it right here, couldn't break through here, couldn't break through here, and then we finally break through. It used to be resistance. We come down and we need to see it act as support, and as long as that holds, usually we blast off from there. So that's kind of what I'm expecting on Snap. So I'm going to wait for this to play out, and as long as we bounce off here and start to curl up, that's probably when I'm going to enter a position. We can target, or we can find out what that position would be based on the size of this channel right here. So you come down to the first touchdown, you grab your bottom, you measure to the top, and it looks like you got about 20 bucks, almost exactly, of channel right here, right? So you add 20 bucks to this little touch point right here, and that's how you get your price target on this chart. So let's add 20 bucks right there and see where we think this thing is heading. Go 20 bucks. Can we get it? Boom, nailed it on the nose. $78.87, so we'll just call it 79. I would probably take profits a little earlier than that just to be safe, so maybe 77 or even 75 if you want to take profits super early just to be safe. So what does that mean for percent gain? We're sitting at $62 right now on Snap. So if you're going from 62 to 75, if you play it conservatively, what's that, $13 on a $62 stock? So you're talking about 20 to 25% of upside there. That is pretty nice for a couple week trade, maybe a week or two, or maybe a month at the most. 20 to 25% gain. I like it a lot. Now, all that said, if we break down under this blue line right here, if it starts to break down underneath that, then that would be a busted trade, a failed breakout or a fake out, so we say. So I would be watching carefully for that as well. Okay, guys, that's what I've got for Snap. Now I'm going to move on to Twitter, Pinterest, and Intel because I'm bullish on all of them as well. And they all kind of have a similar thing going on. I noticed it first on Intel. I'm going to turn the moving averages back on. Yeah, so Intel had this nice bounce off of the 200-day moving average, and it's got this big old gap to the upside. So I'm targeting this gap to the upside. Based off of, seeing some support here off this 200-day moving average, bounced right off of it, and we're heading to the upside. Got a big old gap. Intel's trading at $57 right now. This gap goes all the way up to $62, so you're talking about $5 of upside on a $57 stock. That's about 10% upside. So it's not the biggest play in the world, but Intel is also a pretty safe play. It doesn't move a ton, right? It's a really big blue chip stock. I mean, we're talking about a $230 billion market cap right here. Massive company. And it just doesn't swing wildly. There are some companies that are that big that swing hard. Intel is not one of them. It's kind of a slower mover, right? I mean, if you look at this chart, pull this chart back, this chart has been, over the last 6 months. No, what am I talking about? Over the last 18 months. Yeah, 18 months. Jeez, what am I talking about, Brad? Over the last 18 months, this thing has chopped up and down in the same range. I mean, 18 months ago, we were almost at the same price as we are today, and it chops up and down between, it looks like $70 at its high, all the way down to the mid 40s at its low. But I mean, this thing's been chopping sideways for a long time, right? Big blue chip stock, doesn't move a lot, but you've got an upside gap target right here on Intel with a nice bounce off of the 200-day moving average. That's what I'm seeing on Intel. Bullish on that until we fill that gap, and then I'll reassess. Probably don't want to be in this one after that, just because, like I just said, there's just not a lot of huge upside potential here. If you want a slow-moving dividend payer, that's one thing. If you're trying to trade short-term in and out of a stock to make a quick buck and then move on to the next stock, this one is not going to be for you after we fill this gap. All right, that's what I got for Intel. Like I was saying, Twitter and Pinterest are similar stories, but these ones move a little bit more, right? They're younger companies. They're social media companies. They are, the Robin Hood crew like these companies more than Intel, so they're more volatile. They have bigger swings, bigger daily swings, so they're better for trading because they have bigger moves. You can make more money. You can also lose more money, but if you're careful, if you're playing this right, if you're looking for breakouts and things like that, then you can make more money with stocks that swing harder, right? So with Twitter, also have a gap. Also tested the 200-day moving average right here. It did break down under the 200-day moving average, but we are heading to the upside, so it looks like the 200 is acting as support, even though we were underneath it for a few days there. So heading to the upside, filling this gap, currently trading at $58. we've got an upside target of, let me go ahead and put my lines in here for the gap. It looks like about $63, 63 and a half bucks. So you're talking about $5.50 on a $58 stock. So it's pretty close to the same as Intel. We're already filling this gap as we speak, right? Because this was the original gap right here, right? So you can see we're already in the gap. So we're heading towards the top of that gap, going to try to fill it, and then we'll reassess from there, see where what this chart looks like at that point. And then for Pinterest, similar story. This one, I don't love this chart though. There is a gap to the upside, so you could be targeting that if you are a Pinterest investor or trading Pinterest. You might want to be targeting this gap right here to the $75 range, maybe mid 75s. Currently trading at 65, so you got 10 bucks of upside there on a $65 chart, so that's like $65 stock. So that's more than 10%. So there's a little bit more profitability here on this trade than Twitter or Intel, but there's more risk on this one as well. Let me show you why. Let me pull off these moving averages to clean it up again for you. Now look at this trend line right here. This is what I don't like. You've got a series of lower lows, right? Here, your lows just keep coming lower and lower. It's not a good look. So you have what kind of looks like a double top here, right? Little double top action right there, and then you're just creating lower lows. So this bottom just keeps heading lower. So I don't like that. It's a bearish look, medium to long term. But for the very short term, I would think that Pinterest is going to come up and fill this gap or attempt to, because all of these charts look bullish. Twitter and Snap are two other social media companies, just like Pinterest, and that industry moves, it's an industry just like any other industry. They're going to move together a little bit, right? So if Twitter and Pinterest, or Twitter and Snap, come up to fill their gaps, I would expect Pinterest to also come up and fill its gap, right? They're all in the same industry. They're going to move, not lockstep, but in general in similar directions. So I think it's going to come up, fill this gap, but I would be cautious on this one because it is a more bearish looking chart for at least the medium term on this one, okay? So Pinterest probably bullish short term, bearish medium term, but I am bullish on all four stocks that I talked about in this video: Pinterest, Twitter, Snap, and Intel. Okay, guys, that's what I got for this video. Let me know what you think. What do you think about these stocks? What do you think about these chart patterns? What do you think about my channel? I'm just kidding. If you hate the channel, I guess let me know why, so I can try to improve on it. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't liked the video yet, hit that like button. Help me out. And if you would like to, I also have a join button. You can see my trades in near real time. I post them to YouTube community posts, and I also let you know what I'm thinking about before I get into those trades. I let you guys know about videos that I'm about to make before I make them. For example, I saw a pattern on Ford, and I wanted to get that out to my channel members immediately, let them know, hey, there's a setup on Ford. It's looking really good. Pull it up real quick. And I'm going to make a video on it soon. And, right after I posted that community post, Ford started just shooting straight up. It started shooting up before I could even make the video. It has been going up since I made the video, but my channel members knew about this move before I got the video out, because I post to my channel members immediately when I see something, as much as I can anyway. I try not to blow you guys up with a million alerts every day, but enough to where I think you guys are getting some value out of it. And let me know, channel members, please let me know below if you are getting value out of that. So that's what I got for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one.